that we are ready to go?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Cool. So here, I'm gonna type this live. Alrighty, cool. We are going to go live in 5, 4, 3.
You're listening to the Converted Podcast, the podcast about the Guild Convert to Raid on Airy Peak, US.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 157 of the Converted Podcast, the World of Warcraft podcast all about the Convert to Raid Guild on Airy Peak, US. Today is September 9th, 2019. It's just about 6:30 p.m. Airy Peak local time. Thank you all very much for joining us. Sal, why don't you tell us what the audience has in store for them in this episode?
In this episode, we have new guild names, your converted shoutouts. Turarts is here with the guild haps, and basically, we're just talking about classic, yeah?
Yeah.
Pretty much. My name is Barfolomew. I am the Paladin, and basically Classic is pretty much what everyone's talking about. Let's get the show rolling with our typical introductions, and she's got a whole thing written out here that I'm not going to mess up. Joining me, as always, is the woman with the smarts who's getting all the hearts. She's the guild officer you can't reach by fits and starts. It is, of course, Turarts. T, what's up?
That was good. I love it, Sal. Not much. I am doing wonderful. I've been all the classic all the time. I am going back to shaman right now, which is absolutely amazing.
What?
Not back. I'm going to shaman. Yeah, I'm shamaning. I'm shimmying. I don't know what, huntering is what I say for hunters.
It's shimmying.
Shimmying. Okay, I'm shimmying. So I'm getting practice there, but it's a lot of fun. I'm healing, so leveling's a little wonky with that, but I am absolutely adoring the classic feel since I didn't really play it until Wrath came out. Outside of classic, there's really not much time for gaming except for all the Smash Brothers. My son has finally gotten to the point where he can kind of sort of beat me.
Nice.
So now I have to practice when he's at school. So I'm like, all right, it's now time to get serious about this game. And then another little Miles story real quick. So he had to spend some time with his grandpa before school started. And while he was there, grandma and grandpa spoil him rotten because that's what you do.
That's what they do?
Yeah.
Sure.
Granddad got him a little USB and they put music on it and Miles got to pick songs. So pretty cool. My dad DJ, he's retired, so he DJs part-time now. So it just went through, picked some songs. Yeah, I know. I don't know how.
We're just gonna breeze past that. That's rad.
Yeah, no. He did
My dad's retired, so DJs.
So this is kind of really an awe story, so I'll tell it here. My grandma his mom went to a retirement home, and they had an off-again, on-again relationship until she went to a home. And then he started to go there and spend more time with her. Well, they had to have music playing, and my dad's like, I have the equipment because I've just been retired and just collecting it because I thought it'd be fun to do one day. Do you want me to come do your Christmas parties and stuff? So that's how it started.
At the retirement home?
At the retirement home. So he started doing their Christmas parties, and then once a month they do a birthday party for the birthdays of the month. And my grandma was kind of losing it towards the end a little bit, but she would love that's my son up there doing that. And so when she passed away, he kind of did the retirement home a little bit, but got away from that because it was just too hard. But now he's doing he's done weddings and 50th birthday parties, all that stuff. So it's he doesn't like to say that he's a professional, but he has the lights and the stuff. So I mean, if you're doing a top tier wedding, maybe not, but if you're just low key, have a DJ that's probably gonna do it for really cheap or a case of beer, and you live in Iowa.
Really cheap or a case of beer?
Or travel expenses. He loves it. He's having so much fun. He has the speakers and just the whole works and stuff.
Does he have an air horn?
No, don't give him ideas. He does have a mic, and so at case of Busch Light is super cheap. It is. That's our beer that's Iowa's beer of choice.
I'll do almost anything for a case of beer.
Yeah. But he has a mic, so if it's a family, because we have a big family, so we do family reunions occasionally. He goes, "This is DJ Mike Izzle in the Hizzle." I'm like, Dad, don't do
Your
that.
dad said the word hizzle?
Oh yeah. He starts to get like, yeah, he gets into it. Because at this point, he's drank the case of beer. So where are you going to go from here? Like, if you guys ever get a chance to meet my dad and he starts to loosen up, like, he's a character.
I cannot wait.
I will tell you a story post-show, like maybe even offline, because it's not appropriate, but it's kind of funny. And so it has to do with Hagrid and Professor Flitwick. So I'll tease you a little bit and we'll talk about it. But
You know, I've always wanted to witness the Iowa caucuses.
oh my God, I'm so excited. January is going to be here soon. I am registered. I know where my precinct is because they changed it on me, which is fine. The school just got moved. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. And there's a ton of candidates.
That's true, there are. And every 4 years or every 2 years?
4.
4, okay. Every 4 years, we get the Turarts update on the caucuses and how that goes. We never talk about whom Turarts is caucusing for, but I never totally understood what the chat room has got me. I never totally understood what the caucusing was until Turarts explained what she did and why she's so into it.
I love it.
So I guess I should come to Iowa, witness the caucus, and meet your father.
Well, so I'm going out to California again here in a few weeks, and my family doesn't like when I travel alone. I've done it a bit this year. And so my dad was like, I can come with you. I'm like, no, this is not a situation where you can come with me. BlizzCon, there still is, the chance is getting smaller, but there is still a chance for BlizzCon. And I told my dad, I'm like, hey, I might need you to watch Miles again. He goes, your mom can, I'll just come with you. I'm like, no. Like, Dad, no, don't come to
Why are you going to California, Turarts?
I'm going to something called Friendsgiving. So it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to see Ash to hang out. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm very excited. So
Awesome.
yep. But the point of this whole story, how we got completely out of hand, was Miles's music. So I put that on my computer finally so that we could listen to it like in my car. And it starts like the first song is Happy by Pharrell Williams. Is that his name? I am coming to see you.
Yes, it is.
And then it went to Fireflies by Owl City. And then it went to Miss New Booty. So that's that song where it's like booty, 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 rocking everywhere. Rocking. I'm like, what the So I called my dad and I said, did you help him pick out these songs? He's like, no, I would just play the first couple seconds. And he would go, yeah. I'm like, did you know that the booty song's on there? He's like, oh, yeah, your son was getting into it. He was booty shaking. I was like, what?
Can you please take a video of Miles' booty shaking?
I will try. I will 100% try.
Booty, 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 booty. Yes.
But we went from that. And then after that, it went to Shoot by Salt and Pepper. And I was like, oh my, what is this? So I went through all the songs and yeah, he has an eclectic taste in music, I've learned. He did have a couple Backstreet Boys and NSYNC songs on there. Did Mommy Proud.
I mean,
so
okay. He is quite young. He'll grow out of that.
he will. Oh, he will. He will. The one that shocked me the
song?
most. Yeah, the booty
Always be
song.
there.
He loved that. And then he had Yeah by Usher on there too. And he goes, Mom, make the booty clap. And I was like, oh my God, kid. Oh my God, kid. So he may have been spending a little too much time with Grandpa. And over the next month, he's going to be spending a lot more time with Grandpa. But yeah, so.
He spends time with Grandpa and he learns, hey, Mom, make the booty clap.
Yeah, I'll make the booty clap.
When my nieces and nephew hang out with Grandpa, that is not their experience.
When you hear the story after the show, you're like, I love my dad. I love him to death. We had it like growing up, but I love my dad so much. He's a unique character, but he is a dirty old man. And he has said that he has come to earn that status, and he doesn't apologize. So that's why if we go to BlizzCon, like some of you that are like, oh, I'm a pervert, like a sailor mouth, oh, my dad's going to make you blush and hide under a table. Like,
my dad is the opposite of that.
Yeah. No, my dad's going to like, he will. That's why when people are like, you have a dirty mind, I'm like, I do, but trust me, it's tame. So.
compared to your father.
Yeah, it is. But that was very long. I think it's the most I've talked about my week. But all the classic all the time, and I'm learning my son.
It's the very most you've ever talked about your dad
know.
before.
I know. I adore my dad. We have we will literally sit in a room and not talk for an hour. And then we'll have moments where we're like looking at YouTube videos of My Favorite Martian doing like his weird video. I don't know if you guys know My Favorite Martian or not.
Dude,
They're like Club Villain and D's Balls, I think is another one. And yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wasn't My Favorite Martian like a sitcom in the 60s?
I think it was too. Turarts' dad is a guest.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Ash.
He's
That
got
would
all the
be
equipment.
not
He's
a
ready to go.
He
He
does.
has all the equipment.
He does. He could just like if we ever had a CTR party again, and I was able to go and I had to bring my dad, I would literally let him DJ at the party. I would be like, that's a lot of ifs. That's a lot of ifs.
If you have
But
a CTR party, if you're able to go, and if you had to bring your dad.
like, here's the thing: if I was going to California again, my dad would be coming with me, and he would probably just drop me off someplace and go, "I'm gonna pick you up when the airline leaves in 3 days. See you later."
We
So.
find out that on Saturday he's beat up and replaced the DJ in the Hilton. You know, he's just running the entire bar at that point.
He would take requests.
Everyone would be the better for it.
He would take requests for starters and play it at a low level where you could actually have conversation.
At a low level.
Yeah.
No, we've all moved from the Hilton to the whatever it is across the street.
Marriott.
It doesn't matter. Thank you. Yeah. No DJ from BlizzCon.
No, God. Yeah, it's exciting. But I think that's enough of my dad talk. If you have shout outs, get them to us. And I think we're ready for someone else to talk about their dad.
Yes, for her introduction to the show, everyone please welcome the gal who boosts our morale, but really she's just here to corral this show from the canal, our gal Sal. What's up? What'd you do this week?
Hey, Barf, you did really good. You know, reading those ad hoc poems I came up with. About an hour and a half ago, I had a gushing bloody nose at a bar.
No way.
Like, just I was like, hey, we're
Got
talking
into a
about
bar
stuff,
fight?
and just like poof. No, I did the Flonase yesterday. I was on the
Oh.
Flonase, and the Flonase, that's a sometimes snack. That's not an everyday snack. You know, and that's not actually all that good for your sinuses. You know, and it was, you know, so you get a little bit of a dibble, kind of like, oh, I got a bloody nose. That was not the situation.
Was it just
I had like a handful of blood, and it was just like, ah. I wanted to take a photo of my hand, like how bloody it was. It was kind of awesome. And then my friend Skabet went and got some napkins for me. But first, he brought me this like fancy napkin, like this like cloth napkin, this white cloth napkin at this place we're at. I'm like, I'm not gonna bleed all over this thing. So he had to like run and get, and I was just, it was terrible. But a bloody nose doesn't hurt. It's just a little embarrassing.
fact.
But it was, you know. So yeah, don't do Flonase is the moral of that story. I am shocked and appalled to hear about Turarts' dad. But if I'm going to talk about like how I've been doing what I've been doing, I've been playing WoW, but I've been playing WoW in like a way different way. I've basically just been collecting mana pearls, kind of, in Nazjatar, and then pet battles. I've gone back to back expansions to get pets that I don't have yet, to collect pets because they're there. This seems to happen to me every couple of years. I don't know. Yeah, it's just for collection, just to have them. It's got to catch them all. And on a similar tone, I've been playing Pokemon Go again.
Ooh.
That's right. So anyone who plays Pokemon Go, where do you find mana pearls in Classic, says Bear Kitty. That's a good question. That's a great question. How do you find the mana pearls if you're only playing Classic? That's just it. Everyone's playing Classic. So I'm playing Pokemon Go. And I caught like 3 or 4 new pets today because you got to catch them all, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what they
And
say.
if anyone wants to add me as a friend so you can send me gifts and become my friend, look on my Twitter and you can find it. So that's, I've been taking lots of walks. It's a beautiful day. We get into September. It's
Oh, yeah.
autumn in New York City. It's gorgeous. Always is the best weather. Even in the rain, it's the best weather. So it's a good time to walk around. But what I want to know now is Barf. How you doing?
Well, I too recently went on a walk around out in the nature. There's like small parks and trails and places to walk around out here. So Silver and I took the dog out, and we were out for much longer than we expected. And at the end of the walk, he's like trying to keep up. He's like, I know, man, we've been walking all day. I'm having a hard time here. But he's all right. He's an old man. Took him some time, but he got there. Also been playing a little bit of the Classic. Not nearly as much as it sounds like T's been into it. I'm only like, I think my Paladin's like level 10 right now. And my Shaman's like level 4, something like that, something along those lines. So really, very, very, very still early on in my Classic game. But I did kill a Hogger today. That felt good.
Did you?
Yeah, man, slayed him to death.
that.
That was pretty good. Found
How many people were you?
Yeah, I just like
Where you
in
at?
general chat said, hey, looking for a group for Hogger, and I found like 2 people who were roughly the right level, and we were like, I don't know, we got to clear out the Hoggers, and then we got to kill the real Hogger, and we got to do the thing. And then some level 34 wandered through and was like, hey, you guys need a hand? Thwap! All right, see you guys later, and then just wandered off. It was great. It's like, experience for me. I'm going to turn in this little dumb head, get the points for it, and we're going to be great. What was the other big thing that happened? They released on the 4th, I think, Nintendo released the Super Nintendo emulator for the Switch.
Yes.
They already had the NES games, a whole big pile of NES games, but now there's SNES games on there, and that's a huge problem for me. Because I can't just
see how it would be.
I can't just let Mario Karts be out there with no wins on them. It's part of who I am. So I had to get into the Mario Kart. And I realized that last year, maybe, something like that, I streamed all the Mario Karts. Maybe it was a year and a half ago now. And as I played through them, I got to a point where I just couldn't win anymore. And I had to teach myself how to drive correctly. As it turns out, when you're power sliding, if you tap the brake real quick at the end of it, you get much more control on the way out of the power slide. So you don't crash into the walls as much, which isn't a big deal at lower speeds. But in Mario Kart 8, they put in that 200cc race.
Yeah.
And you're going too fast. And I was just crashing into the walls on every turn. So I learned how to apply the brakes the right way. Then I go back to Super Mario Kart, and I got through the whole thing in like a weekend. In my opinion, it was the hardest Mario Kart game they ever made, was the first one. And I never could get gold medals on all the harder, and I got it no problem this time. It's because I was driving right. Everybody used the brakes. Remember, the brakes make you go faster. It's weird. I know it's weird, but it does work. Use the brakes, you go faster. It's the wildest thing.
That makes you bring it back to World of Warcraft. People are racing through WoW Classic right now. Like, oh, they didn't tune it correctly. Oh, it's easier. Like, no, you're just all better players. You understand how MMOs work now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. Besides the fact that we know the world. Well, okay, so if you're a veteran player and you played anywhere between Classic or Vanilla and Wrath, you're familiar with old school Azeroth, and you kind of know where a lot of that stuff is, and it's not hard. You're not learning how the game works. You're not learning any of the locations, and you're not learning the basic mechanics of being in a 5-person group. And then you get into places like Molten Core. Oh, they beat Molten Core in the first week of the game being around. Yeah, the mechanics of Molten Core are like 3 sentences long per boss. I bet you could write a doctoral paper on some of the stuff that's in modern, what do they call it now, live or retail, or in
Retail.
Battle for Azeroth, some of the boss encounters that are in there, you could write like essays on the right way to do these mechanics. The complex part about the back in the day was wrangling all the players together, like trying to keep people from dying just to getting hit too hard, you know, and putting all your fire resist gear into the tank and that sort of thing. Like that was like, it wasn't mechanical. It wasn't like fight mechanics. It was game mechanics that you were fighting. And now that we understand that as players, of course people are going to walk through it. Like obviously people are going to walk through it. The idea that it's imbalanced is just, I mean, maybe it is imbalanced to the modern day 2019 player, but it's the real experience.
There was nothing like it. I mean, there were other MMOs. It's not like, well, I was the first one, but you know, there weren't rules. There wasn't anything like, hey, this is how this kind of works. You know, these days it's like, okay, I get it. I need to collect 10 bear butts. You know,
but only 1 in every 10 bears has a butt.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I don't know. People are different now, and people understand what to understand what to expect. Sorry, the chat room just distracted me. Bear Kitty took offense to my last statement in the chat room. The chat room is the best part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to come look what's going on twitch.tv/convertedpodcast to watch our videos on demand. Also, we export to YouTube, but it's not quite as good. Anyway, tonight, there's not like a ton going on in retail WoW right now. In most raid teams, they're rounding out AOTC, and we're definitely in a news lull, probably until BlizzCon. But also, we don't have a special guest, but we still wanted to give you updates on your Convert to Raid guild on Airy Peak US.
But you really, I mean, it isn't just Airy Peak anymore, right? You can't even just say that.
What do you think about that, Turarts?
That's right. For the first time ever, we've new guilds and even a new game. It's exciting. All kinds of new stuff happening with CTR.
Sure, I guess if you call Classic a new game, and a lot of people do, a lot of people say it's a completely different game, then yeah, our guild has, you know, representation, you know, in other kind of platforms. But so the last time we recorded this show, Classic had just launched and people were trying to like get into the servers. People were waiting these giant queues, and they didn't know if they were going to get in or not. So show of hands in chat room, I'm going to ask you to. So everyone in the chat room, I'm asking you the same question. Raise your hand. Who has been on any of the vanilla servers in the past 2 weeks? Okay, I see that Turarts raised her hand. I see Barf raised his hand. In the chat room, we have several people who are basically most people. Many of our lurkers are raising their hands. Yes. Oh, okay. The chat. Wow. I guess the question in the chat room. Anyone in the chat room not dip into Classic? Because for me, I haven't even pressed the button.
Have you?
I haven't even. I haven't even. I did install it.
Okay.
It is installed. But it seems everyone in our chat room has dibble dabbled in Classic a little bit. The two of you definitely have. And Barf, tell me what you've been doing on what you've been doing.
Well, like I said, I'm leveling a paladin on Pagel, and I'm leveling a shaman right now on Whitemane. Mostly been dying to gnolls and murlocs. Mostly has been my experience. But I will say that it is you don't really do this a whole lot in retail, and I think I talked about this last time too, where you're just in an area questing and someone else is in that same area questing. It's most of the time those people end up in a group together because they're questing in the same area. And, it's just it's so much easier. It's so much easier to just, whatever it is that you're trying to kill that day, to do it in a group. Like, so it's so different. In retail, I usually won't group with people unless it's like you have to have 40 people to do this thing. Yeah, that's been my experience. The other thing that has changed in the last 2 weeks is the day that we recorded the last episode was the day it launched, and there were bazillions of people waiting in line to try to get in. Not even playing, waiting in line to play. Today, there is a server queue time at peak hours, but generally speaking, you can get in and play. You're really not standing in line and waiting as much anymore. So that's been a big difference. If you've been waiting because you've heard the horror stories about the queue times, give it another shot.
That is what has kept me from doing it. I created characters. I'm ready. I'm on Pagel. I want to join up with my CTR people, but I just don't want to spend an hour. I'd rather be hunting mana pearls and retail. So Bear Kitty says they got in right away on the first day. Congratulations. Congratulations. Turarts, tell me what you've been up to.
So I have a tune on Whitemane, but Whitemane's always so populated that I actually, and it's an Alliance Hunter, switched to Peggle because it was easier to get in, and that's where I'm playing a Tauren Shaman. I always call it a Druid Shaman, and that's not right. It's a Tauren Shaman. And so I've been actually playing a lot more Horde than Alliance. And I'm level 25, and it's been a lot of fun. I found a good kind of like group of people to play with. Ash is actually one of them, and some of his friends from back in the day. So it's a lot of fun. I'm learning a lot. Like, you can't just water breathe. You have to actually go find some slimy fish scales and like carry those in your bag. And things don't stack how I want them to. And I forgot that quest items used to take up bag space. So when you have quest where you're like, collect these whiskers and collect this heart and collect this head and collect this globule and then come back to me, you're like, well, there's 4 bag spaces out of the like 12 I have. So awesome.
Not even counting the 4 that you're dedicating to your totems.
Yeah, I only have 3 totems so far. I only have 3.
You have to put totems in your bag?
Yep,
oh, yeah, dude.
You have to have actually, I don't want to, like, I have it up right now because I don't want to wait for a queue once this is done. But yeah, you have a earth totem, a fire totem, and a water totem. Plus, I have to carry my skinning knife, your fishing pole, because you can't just skin without a skinning knife in Classic. So it's a lot of fun running to dungeons. You don't have any summoning stones. You have meeting stones, so you can meet at a stone, but no summoning.
Wait a minute. So you've been running dungeons?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What dungeons? What level are you right now?
25. So
Wait, the stones.
What dungeons can you run at 25?
So the stones, the stones you don't summon. You just meet there. It's just like, we're at this dungeon, so meet at the stone. But you can't click and summon people.
I remember using the stones for summoning. Was that... Did
later.
they not introduce that till BC?
I don't know if it was BC, but I know it was later.
Yeah. Do you know that there was? I know this because I've been watching Bellular's. He's got a series about every patch in the game, and in vanilla there was a looking for group tool available. It just sucked and nobody used it. And once nobody used it and it sucked, then they came up with they turned the meeting stones into summoning stones.
I remember vaguely my first character ever. I walked into an inn, and there was a speech bubble on the innkeeper that said, "What can I do at this inn?" And one of the options was to join a dungeon, and I had no idea what that meant. And I clicked into it, and suddenly I found myself in a group to go run dead mines, which was bad because I was on the Night Elf starting zone. And I had no idea what dead mines or dungeons or grouping or travel actually meant. So yeah, I think you're right. That tool once upon a time, yeah, that vaguely sounds familiar.
Dungeons, to answer Sal's questions, dungeon you can do Horde, Ragefire, Chasm, and Orgmire, Wailing Caverns. Tonight I'm actually going to be running Shadowfang Keep.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
So there are a lot of low level ones. Like we could go naked run through Stormwind and do Stockades. Because you have to run through, you don't want that durability, so you just die and run and die and run.
At 25, you can do the stockades. Yeah.
Yep.
You'd
So-
have to naked run to get to the stockades, but then you could
Yeah,
run
but the
it.
same
Yeah.
was also true of Razorfen. Or not Razorfen,
Oh, sure.
Ragefire.
That's
Yeah,
what I meant.
Ragefires, and so there are dungeons you could do, and there's more. My problem, so like with classic is, and this is like my problem with life. I don't want to be a burden, so I don't ask for help. I try and solo stuff that I shouldn't, and I'm sitting here dying and just like, oh, especially I'm a healer, so I don't have the like, oomph. I can roar at them and they just look at me like, oh, sweetie. So it's not the same. Like it's not the same at all. But I've been getting better at trying to play with a group. But yeah, the dungeons, it's something where I just don't want to like, I don't want to be like, hey, who wants to go run this with a subpar healer who's just kind of winging it. So I could probably be doing more because there are a ton more that you can do on the other continent, I'm pretty sure. But I'm just like, yeah, we'll get there. Fine. We'll get there.
Turrets, you're like all in on the classic.
I am loving it. It is. My favorite part of WoW isn't the end game; it's the leveling. Like I love
Sure.
exploring the places, and so this is what
You've
I
got a lot
love.
to look forward to.
So, and because I can do it by myself, but I can also go up with a group if I want to. It gives me that. If I just want to zone out and play because it's been a day, I can. If I want to hop in a Discord and actually talk to people and make fun of the fight. Oh, you'll love this, Sal. So if we said, hey, we're going to go run DM, what would you think? What dungeon are we doing?
Dead Mines.
Dire Maul. I guess Dead Mines is actually called
Oh.
VC because Van
Cleef.
Cleaver is
Van
the last
Cleef.
boss. So, yep.
I'll tell you what, I have spent many years, as I level up in retail WoW, there comes a time where I'm leveling. I spam dungeons to try to level, and what happens is I spam the dungeons, I level up, I get the gear, I'm like everything's fine, and then I hit the point where you have to go into Dire Maul, and that's where I stop.
Dire Maul's not any fun.
Dire Maul is so I've got a lot of tunes at like 35, like or whatever it is, 30, 35, or just I hit a certain point and I give up because I don't want to do Dire Maul.
Mine is it what's the one where it's long, it ends with you fighting dwarfs, like iron dwarfs, it's magma, it's before Molten Core. It's the one you have to run to get attuned to Molten Core. I can't
Black
think of the
Fathom.
name.
No.
No, not Black Fathom. That's
No,
the one
not
with
Black
Black-
Fathom. That's
Black
the one
Rock.
with the
Black
Naga.
Rock Depth. Black Rock Depth. That's what it
Yes.
is. I
Depths.
cannot stand that one. Like that is my least
in retail
favorite
WoW.
one.
That is divided into 2 different dungeons now.
It is, yeah.
Is it 2 or 3? I think it's 3.
Is it 3?
I think it's 3.
Okay. Well, it's not 1 anymore, but it is really long, and you get lost. Oh, Dire Maul is the same way. You get lost.
Yeah.
I always get lost.
That's split up into 3. Isn't Dire Maul 3?
In the chat room, it's like Dire Maul is one of the best dungeons in WoW history, along with Black Rock Depths. Oh, these are a really, these are not 20-minute experiences. These are hour-and-a-half experiences.
I mean, I like Black Rock Depths. I don't really care for Dire Maul all that much, but like, I never really, and I guess because I kind of understood the layout of Black Rock a little bit better for some reason. Like, it just, for some reason, I understood how it all traveled. It was the same way with Wailing Caverns. Like, everyone had their way through Wailing Caverns, that rat's nest of a dungeon that they cut 3/4 of it away from when they updated it.
They did.
Oh no, the big one though was Sunken Temple. That one you had to
They
be
took away a lot of that.
yeah, you had to be ready. You had to have the cat hair all blown out of your mouth for that one, man, because that one took some time.
Well, this is all of this is really talking me into playing more in classic or at all. But what I really want to know, and what this whole show is about, this show is about the CTR Guild, the Convert to Raid Guild. So I want to know, and maybe I think both of you, being like high level officers in our guild, can tell me, Barf. Could you let me know, like, what is CTR? What is our guild doing in Classic?
Our guild has joined forces with a number of other guilds and communities around the World of Warcraft sort of game sphere. Communities such as Lagging Balls and Blood of the Scribe, communities like the Starting Zone and for Azeroth and AIE and a bunch of other communities. And we established a Discord, the link to which you can find in the Convert to Raid Discord, in a couple of different channels. Most easily, probably the announcements channel. You're looking for an invite to the Discord for the United Federation of Guilds.
United Federation of Guilds.
Right. That Discord is kind of our sort of one-stop for intergroup communication in Classic amongst all of these communities. Once you actually get into WoW Classic, the suggestion is to, and actually T just posted a link to the Discord in the chat as well. The suggestion is that you join one of our United guilds. We have guilds established on Pagel, which is a PvE server, and Whitemane, which is a PvP server. And you can roll on either server, on either faction, and you'll find something that we and some of these other communities have put together. Do a search for United Stormwind or United Ogremar, depending on what faction you choose, and anybody in those guilds would be able to shoot you an invite, and at that point you'd be in.
And then a couple of points of clarification about the guild. It's a bunch of communities coming together. So with that being said, this isn't quite your CTR family friendly experience. Don't be a dick is the general rule. So you're not going to hopefully have like F this, F that, F like, but there may be an occasional slip up here or there. And then we do have an officer group, but we're really kind of keeping it up to you guys to kind of police yourself. You can definitely come to us. We have an email, which I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know if Barf does. So we are doing, like, we have some things set up for that, but just basically don't be a dick. And as we start to play more and people start to get up to higher levels, you'll start to see more things like events and maybe raid teams forming and stuff like that. But that is one thing I want to clarify because we've had some questions. It's not the family-friendly standard you've come to love and know as CTR. Just with all these communities, they have different ways of doing it, different things. We've kind of laxed up a little bit. But so far, from what I've seen, it hasn't been bad. Like, I don't know if Barf's seen anything, but there's nothing that's made me go, clutch my pearls. But
No, I think in general people kind of catch the vibe of, in Classic you have to work together or everybody dies, and that's sort of, I feel like, bled over into the way the community is sort of, everybody's kind of like, hey, I have bags, who wants bags? No, I'll just trade you, come to Stormwind. Like, that's been sort of the vibe, which has been very, very pleasant.
So get in that Discord server, though. That's the kind of where people are pinging, like running this, doing that. You're going to find a lot of activity going on there.
So what you're saying is I should probably log on to my Pagel Tunes and join United Stormwind?
Maybe, yeah. That'd be a good idea. Get you in
Okay.
there.
This sounds great. Okay, let's thanks so much for explaining that to us, guys. Barricade says that says we are waiting for you. Okay. I appreciate that. Don't hold your breath. Now, Let's move on to the next to the next part.
Absolutely.
Or so.
Unfortunately, our friend Eshelon has been very busy recently, and obviously he's not here yet. He won't be joining the show with us tonight, but Turarts is on double duty tonight with both Guild Haps and the Raid Report. And with that...
It's time for tea!
Oh, the timing on that was almost perfect. It's
love
fine.
it.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
With Guild Haps, as Sal said, we're in a lull right now for retail. Everyone's kind of leveling up in Classic. So if you want to find things to do in Classic, get in that United server. You'll see people posting all the time. Post in there. So that would be my recommendation. I am going to kind of spoil a little bit, even though details aren't worked out, what we're working on with AIE. So if you went to the town hall, I talked about how we're going to be doing an event with AIE. Later in October, we are going to have a weekend. I think we decided the 19th and the 20th. It might change, but the 19th and 20th of October, we are going to do they do like a running of the bulls and a running of the gnomes before. This time we're going to do a running of the Worgen. So we're going to start in the Worgen zone. We're going to pick a random server. So don't worry yet. We're waiting to decide what server. The reason I'm telling you this now is once we announce that server, you'll have to get up to like level 10 to get outside of Gilneas. So just something to keep in mind. And then we're just going to run from Gilneas. We haven't quite decided where yet. We're going to pick a major city. We want to do a boat cross. So details still to come. And then on the next day, the 20th, we're going to kind of have like a pre-Halloween BlizzCon hype type thing. And we're going to do an Alliance and a Horde transmog contest. So we'll do an hour or so with like Horde. So if you have Horde tunes that you love, this will be on retail. If you have Horde tunes that you love, we'll do an hour kind of fashion show with your stuff. And then we'll switch it to Alliance because some of the gear does look different. So it's all kind of in the works. I don't think AIE's announced anything yet, but I wanted to give you guys a heads up just because if you do plan on doing that Worgen, it's going to take a little bit. It doesn't take that long to get to 10 now or 12 or whatever it is to get out of the zone because you have your heirlooms, you have all this stuff. So don't worry, but it will be a random server just so we can make it fair because some people are capped out and that sort of thing. And we're just going to run from Gilneas to somewhere. So it'll be pretty exciting. That is coming up here in about a month or so. Hopefully next time we are on, I will have a lot more details, but that'll give you kind of a little bit of a sneak peek as to what is happening. To switch gears and to butcher some names, we're going to talk about what raid teams have been doing. So let's get that raid action. Starting with threat level Midnight has taken Ashvane and Orgorgo's Heroic.
No one can say that name.
No one can say that name. Hump Day Heroes, Queen's Court Heroic. Gruel's Gone Wild, Salad Senate, and Marginally Competent have taken down Ashvane, Orgzoa, and Queen's Court Heroic. Resolve, Harbinger Heroic. Bacon and Kegs has crushed Queen's Court and Harbinger. Dark One's Own Luck has also taken down the Queen Azshara Heroic. Congrats there with Standard Dragon Protocol bringing up the last heroic kills for us with Harbinger and Queen Azshara. Now Facepole is still rocking it in Mythic. They have Behemoth and Radiance down. So I think that's 3 bosses, if I'm doing my math. No? Maybe I don't know this raid as well as I thought I did. I really thought. We'll say 3. I'm going to commit to that. We're going to commit. And we're going to say they've done 3 mythic bosses. And yeah, you can correct me next show. Go ahead and tweet at us about it. And I'll eat crow and it'll be great. But that is our raid team. So it's glad to see teams are still out there doing stuff with Classic kind of taking up a lot of people's time.
So many people are in Classic, but they're still like making their way to raid night.
They are.
Yes, 3 of 8 is what you were looking for.
3 of 8. Look at that.
Then.
I was right. My commit worked. But I think that is going to do it for us. Chat room, while we wait for us to do our shout outs, you can go ahead and get us the chat room shout outs. So if you want to go ahead and get those to us, we will go ahead and do our shout outs since I don't see any on Twitter.
I'm going to shout out to Miles's very red lips. I'm pretty sure Miles wears deep red lipstick, and I want to know like what brand that is so I can pick it up because it's kind of the perfect red.
I think it's just the camera off his lips. He has like a good pinkish color naturally. But
Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah,
Miles has joined us for the podcast
he has Don't Pick Your Nose.
tonight.
Oh my
It's all right, brother. I'll pick them too. Pick them with solidarity.
Yeah, no. So I will shout out to Miles as well because he did something super adorable while I was having to mom a little bit on the show. But this bear that you have, he is going to sleep with tonight. And then when I go to bed, he wants me to take it and cuddle with it so I'm not alone because then it'll smell like him. So shout out to Miles. So shout out to him. And then shout out to Doomy and it's shout out to Ash and to Rich and to Ange. They've been really getting me through Classic and getting me over my like not asking for help thing because I just kind of try and solo it until I'm beating my head. So thank you three for just helping me come out of my shell a little bit. And yeah, so thank you for that. And then to all the people who've stepped up in the United Guild and kind of helped out and that sort of thing. But I think that'll do it for my shout outs. Well, I'm getting bunny ears over here. So hardcore momming during the show tonight. Barf, what shout outs do you have?
For me, I'd like to give a shout out to all of the officers of the CTR community who haven't just been giant slackers the way some of the other officers of the CTR community, as he points to his own head, have been, in that, you know, Classic is fun and it's like the new hotness and everyone's hanging out there, but like there's still guild business that needs doing over in retail. And every once in a while, man, I either jump into that game or I jump into the Discord just to keep an eye on things, make sure things are going smooth. And man, I got to tell you, like, officer chat is still active. People are still talking about like, hey, this is what's going on in this area, or hey, it looks like there's like some holes that we need to fill in coverage for greeter shifts and that sort of thing. And that's still going, despite the fact that the allure of Classic, or the opposite of the allure of Classic, if that's who you are, is still present. So big ups to you guys for basically keeping the ship afloat while we're out playing.
For real. Yep, officers are doing great. So thank you. All right. Well, I don't see any chat room shout outs tonight, so that's okay though. We can.
That's fine. This is a shorter show.
I mean, we said that, but turned out not really to be that much shorter of a show.
Well, bring us on home, Barf.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to wrap us up for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to give a big thanks to Navox and Geek Chic Lisa for our theme music. You can find us all on Twitter at @converted_CTR. Turarts is at Turarts. Sal is at Summer_Sal. Esh is at Eshelon. And I am at A Bonus Level. Sal, when is the next episode?
Our next episode is in 2 weeks, September 23rd, which is, about a month away from BlizzCon.
That'll be fun. I'm really hoping that we get some cool ideas for what's going to be happening at BlizzCon. We're going to have a big conversation about it. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I hope to have happen. But for now, we're going to say bye. We'll see you in 2 weeks. For Turarts.
Bye.
For Sal.
Good night.
And for myself. We'll see you next time, everybody. Uh-oh.
You can follow the show on Twitter @converted_CTR. You can follow the show on Twitter @converted_CTR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Converted Podcast. And find us on our Twitch channel, Converted Podcast. And join us live every other Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really.
Yay!
We did it.
Show done.
Did it.
Oh, I didn't
So
switch
classic.
it back. Burp. There we are.
Classic. I am loving Classic a lot. I am up to 5 gold, so I'm basically rich.
Dude,
Wow.
that's hyper rich. I've got like 14 silver right now.
I'll say I'm up to 5 gold. But
Wow.
it's a lot of fun.
Barry Kitty, you killed it tonight.
Yes.
I mean, our chat room is always good, but I think Barry Kitty, probably, had a few shots of vodka before the show started, and kept us on our toes and kept us laughing. Off your meds. Okay, that makes sense too. Well, I would like to go fix myself a little bit of food.
All right. Well,
go to
chat
bed.
room. Thanks for hanging out.
Yes, chat room, you were a lot of fun tonight.
I wasn't listening to what you guys were saying. Did you just tell me to stop going live?
Yeah.
Okay,
Food.
sorry. I was looking at Audacity because I was looking to cut out that part where it was playing double. Bye, everybody. I love you.
Bye.